Hey traders, good morning. I'm starting a little later in the day due to some family obligations. Set a limit order here. If you're not familiar with the channel, I'm going to document getting multiple funded accounts, trading the Nasdaq futures. I'm doing this with getting funded accounts through prop firms. They allow you to trade $50,000 valuation accounts. And you have a $53,000 profit goal. This first one here, 51, 59, it's been 2 days of green. So I'm doing micros here because knowing myself, I get a little aggressive. I get a little bit too confident after a couple days of wins. And so here I'm going short. My strategy is really outlined in the free training video and also custom indicators that I've built that are kind of off screen. I think I'm gonna get stopped out here. And if you want to get more information on that, I have a link in the description here, and it'll take you over to the registration page where you can register for the training. There you'll learn my strategy, how I get these funded accounts, and how I trade with other people's money with these valuation accounts. So that first account here, the one I just lost $69 on, 190 is an evaluation account. I'm just trying to get the $53,000 profit goal. The second one is a cash account. And so I'm using the same strategy to trade both. But with the first one, I'm just doing, scalping on the 15-second chart is what you see here. I have a bunch of other charts and indicators up on other screens, which I go over in the free training with the link. But I will trade the cash account on higher time frames, so like the 5, 15, and 30-minute time frame. And there I will definitely always use micros until I build up a good cash cushion. But for the valuation account, I am tending to trade full-size contracts, except for in instances like today, where I've had really 2 solid good green days, and I'm feeling a little too overconfident. I know myself. That's typically how things roll. And as you can see, if this was a full-size account, that would have been $609 loss. Would have been pretty hard to take. And so I'm going to continue to look for orders here based on my indicators and the other screens. So I'll take another stab short. We're kind of in a weird upward trend market. However, there's a slight downward trend just before market opened. So I'm kind of short biased, but on these scalping type of setups, I really like to switch my bias very frequently. So it really depends on the very short 15-second time frame, which direction I kind of get a sense for based on my indicators, which way it's going to turn. And I'm really looking my strategy is based on stop hunting, detecting the algos from the market makers and the hedge funds and all the other large institutional algorithmic traders that can see the order books. They can kind of stop hunt people's orders before they reverse the trend. So you'll see me as things double top and double bottom, like in this case, this was kind of a double top. However, I got in a really bad price. So the other thing is that I should have taken profits at about 10 or 12 points. So I missed the opportunity, and it's kind of hard for me to switch between scalping the 15-second and then scaling in and scaling out of trades on the 15 and 30-minute. Totally different ball game, but I'm training myself to kind of work with both. Very much more high probability my trades are on larger time frames. However, I do go in heavier or lighter on scalping depending on my conviction with other time frames. So I'm looking at other time frames as well on my charts. Here I get an add and 3 points, but I'm not going to hold. I'm going to just look for the next opportunity. So I'm down a little bit. Again, good thing I was trading micros just because that could have ended up being a $1,600 loss if I had it. So let me fast forward until the next trade opportunity. So here, I think I'm going to look to go long and kind of switch my, short. And I'm just looking for the right timing on a nice drop in the market. It does look overextended, and like I said, it's kind of like a downward trend overall. And I'm kind of waiting for the right timing, although I do, again, have to get better. Like this, I should be out right now. And I'm thinking to set my stop below that pivot low. But in actuality, you could let runners run, maybe take one contract off if I had more than one. But I kind of want to lock in my profits here in case it goes against me. And on these scalping plays, I kind of like doing that where I like it's to stop me out rather than it take profit. It just depends on how quickly it spikes up or down. And so I'm still a little short bias here, and I do think that it's got some potential to go down further. It is closing below the 20 SMA and the 9 EMA here. Those are the 9 EMAs, the teal line, the 20 SMAs, the gold line. And those aren't really in my strategy. They're more for about where to take profits. So I generally will, get these double tops and double bottoms, triple tops in some cases, triple bottoms. And then I look for the profit target for the price to go back to the mean, which is, eventually it gets there if you don't get stopped out for that. So I'm kind of switching my long bias here. Again, you got to be kind of very nimble with trading with scalping on the short time frames. And even though I'm kind of pretty certain this is going to downtrend with the rest of the market, just the timing can be very difficult sometimes. So in this case, I have some pretty high conviction that we're going to continue to go higher. So I'm adding another contract here. Like again, this is these actually are switching to full contracts. So I'm out of the micros. Forgot to mention that. Feel a little bit more confident in my strategy. And I seem like from the last 2 days, I always had losers at the beginning of the morning. As soon as the market kind of settled down, you had a little less volatility. My win rate was a lot higher in the scalping. So I think I'm going to continue that trend where I scalp in the morning and prove to myself that I am in the right mindset, and then I'll have a higher win rate with trading full-size contracts later in the day. So it really is kind of a way to test my how I'm performing for the day, because you can perform poorly but still make money when you trade. It's really odd thing, but you can get lucky basically. And so I want to make sure that I'm performing correctly. I'm not FOMOing into trades. I'm not doing the things that I know can damage my P&L. I have a tendency to, like I said, FOMO. I have a tendency to kind of revenge trade. So yeah, knowing your weaknesses in that case is really beneficial. So I do see this thing popping up. I am getting constantly stopped out here, but I'm keeping my stops really tight, and just taking paper cuts on pretty large size contracts. I mean, three full size contracts is a lot, so I'm being really cautious and then keeping my tight stops, but also not keeping my profit targets too crazy. Just gotta. Yeah, so there I got stopped out. Or I'm sorry, I took my limited order, which was a good trade overall. And that's kind of how I want to do with these scalping, is looking for 10 points, 12 points, nothing too crazy. When I do larger time frames, I'm looking for 30, 60, 90 points, things like that. So here I try again with the long order. So I do think it has a lot more room to go up. I do think it's going to test the highs again. I just, again, look at how it kind of poked through every single time, trended lower, but has these huge spikes up. So it tells me a lot of stop hunting is going on, and it's the algos just stopping people out before. You see it a lot more apparent on the smaller time frames, but you also see it in other time frames, which I kind of go over in my training. Now here again, I need to not be greedy on scalping. 20 points that just spiked up is plenty on a full contract or whatever for scalping. So, I think that in this case, I really made a mistake, and to protect myself, I'm going to move up my stop. And it's so quick with the limit orders. So again, I see that this stop hunting happening where the algos will kind of, so that would have been a great entry right there. That would have been an awesome entry with a limit order possibly, and take profit right there. So I think I missed that one. And we'll just fast forward here. One thing I want to note that at, I believe it was at 9 o'clock this morning, there's Jerome Powell is going to, there's going to be some testimony in Congress. And so a really great website I like is Forex Factory. I mean, it's more towards Forex, but it's got a really cool calendar view here. You go to their calendar and it tells you these red and orange folders are really important. The orange one's not so much, the yellow one's not at all. But the red one, it tells you that Fed chair testifies, it gives you related stories on the right, Twitter links and everything else, and gives you what the description is, like what is how influential is it. And so we're seeing a downtrend right here. This would have been good to hold into the FOMC meeting. It looks like people are cautious and maybe taking some money out of the market, closing their positions, and that's kind of affecting this downtrend right here. Just basically off of no news at all, but the fact that potential bad news could hit the market as soon as Powell testifies. This doesn't always happen, though. I don't suggest you start going short just before every news event. It could be the opposite effect too. You just really never know. And I don't like trading the news. I like to react to after the news has traded, and there's been some, I can detect some market manipulation, some stop order hunting, things like that. And so I really will wait until a lot of testimony is over in Congress. I'll kind of listen to it in the back end. And then once it's over, and if no major moves have happened, I will think about resuming trading. So I'm up for the day 237, but I think I'm going to fast forward here and just wait for a trade after the meeting's over. Okay, Powell's testified. Everything's over, and then here I switched over to my cash account. As you can see, I'm short 2 contracts. I also took another trade that you don't see. You can see my P&L is 422 now. So I forgot to hit record, but just after he had his testimony, I saw some really good opportunity, and I took about a $200 winner. And so here I'm seeing some double top action, some stop hunting on the short side, and looking on the higher time frame too. So this is the 5-minute chart. Still trading micros from my cash account. One thing here is that I tend to scale into these positions with micros, looking for the bigger move. Like I said, 30 points, 60 points, 90 points, things like that. And I think I should still wait for the limit order. I could still scale in, but possibly more contracts at more extreme prices. So that second pink triangle there would have been a great entry for 2 contracts. Would have had a much better average, and possibly another add for a second or third or fourth contract above that range, because my stops are kind of far out too. I generally use the 20s and the 80s as a stop above those numbers. So my stop is going to be 225, and then whole numbers too, like 201 would be fine too. As you can see, it spiked up to just under 200. So 201 might be a great stop, but I do see some pretty heavy market manipulation happening here on my off-screen indicators, and I don't know if the timing will be right, but it definitely looks like there's a lot of price being pumped into the current the bars, but the volume doesn't seem to justify the price with the volume that I'm seeing. So these trades here are longer time frame, and as such, I'm looking for more points, and I'm also willing to hold these for a lot longer. Sometimes an hour, or 30 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it takes. For the scalps, I'm looking to get in and out as quickly as possible. So really, patience is key. Scaling in and out at really good prices is key. My performance on this trade already, I feel like getting in too early on these bigger moves. I'm scaling into them, but you want to get in on extreme prices, really, so that you don't have that feeling of regret when you're in a trade. And that's kind of what I'm feeling now. And when I get that feeling, I just, I don't want to stop out. I'll stop out, full size it, or I'll close out early. But I'll also take my profits early if I feel like I didn't make the right decision. Because for me, it's not about just P&L. It's about how is my performance. I want to perform well, and the P&L should follow after that. Because again, you can get lucky and make money in the market and perform poorly, and you could perform perfectly and lose money. And you want to always perform well. You don't want to make money on bad performance, because eventually it'll catch up to you. And so it's my mantra, and it's really about performance over profits is my tagline, I guess you'd call it. And here I'm just not too happy with my performance with the limit orders and my entries. I need to be at more extreme entries and take if I have high conviction, take bigger size. More extreme and bigger size is always better. Less frequent trades, honestly. 2 or 3 a week would be awesome. I mean, I'm trying to trade these daily just because, in order to withdraw money from the account, you need to trade a total of 25 days, which is 5 weeks of trading every single day. So just try to trade a little and keep my losses minimized, and try to trade well. And so if I'm up $700 just after a few days, was this third day, that is great. That's great progress. On the 25-day scale of things, I just need to keep my losses really small and take a very, when I see a great opportunity to hammer it, take those. So this one's playing out really slow for me. Let's see. Fast forward this a little bit. You get a third contract. Just kind of tightening up my stop order. I see I'm in profit. I'm giving an opportunity to, hit that limit order, but also I want to not take a loss on this if possible. So not actually looking for a profit, looking to kind of break even on this poor trade. But still getting the opportunity, if I get a little lucky, why not, grab some profit. So generally my targets are going to be the 9 EMA and the 20 SMA. I will stick my limit order between those targets if it's relatively good trade. Especially in this case, it would break the low of that red candle, the previous red candle. But I'm just going to protect myself here. I don't like the way the market's shaping up, and I don't like my limit order. I would have taken profit, at least for a contract or two at this point, seeing how the market's behaving. And so, you know, had my limit order, had I had really good limit orders. So I'm just going to set my stop loss to something where I can kind of break even and just pay for the commissions. So there we go. At $9, I still kind of liking how this candle is forming here and how my other indicators are showing some potential for a short. So I possibly will take another short if I see the opportunity present itself, especially on the 15-minute time frame on my other charts and indicators. I'm seeing some pretty high conviction. So I fast forward a little bit here, and I'm short 2 contracts. Again, I'm more at extreme prices, so I'm pretty happy with my entry here. And I have a really good risk reward. I'm keeping my stop tight, so don't want to give back too much. I haven't made too much, but I don't want to be in the red too much. Allow me to recover for the day, or just be a little bit negative for today is fine as well. So there, I get stopped out. Negative 46 on the day. Not bad so far, considering I made 422 on the evaluation account. I will continue to look for opportunities throughout the day, but likely not going to trade anymore unless I see something really, really interesting pop up. Okay, I did find another trade eventually. I'm just looking at this thing on the 30-minute time frame, and I have really high conviction. Generally, 30-minute time frame for my particular strategy doesn't come around too often. The bigger the time frame, the less frequent. It happens even in the daily time frame. You could find these setups where I stop hunting with market manipulation and these algos using my custom indicators to kind of off to the side. The 30-minute doesn't come around too often, and generally I don't trade this late in the day. I just happened to glance at the chart before I wrapped up for the day. I was kind of bummed about being red on my cash account, and I was like, wow, this is a great opportunity to get in. I got it at a great price here at 267, and I have a clear area where my stop is going to be at. Like I said, I like to put my stops at the 20s and the 80s, just above or below, depending if I'm long or short. And this thing spiked up on very low volume. It's at the end of the day. We had a rally, but I do think like this is completely exhausted and is looking to turn down. I just don't know how far. I do think it's still showing some strength, so I want to be real cautious about locking in my profits. But I'm not going to just set my stop to be break even. I'm going to be committed to this trade. The one thing I would say is that I'm going to wait until the 12 o'clock mark, and as soon as this thing turns red, I'm going to set a stop just above the high of the 2 previous candles, the red candle, and that way I'll just lock it in. Now, if it doesn't work out for me at 12 and this thing is a green candle or I'm in the negative, I'm closing it. I got to get done for the day. So that's kind of where it's at. So I'll fast forward this. We'll see how it plays out when it gets around noon. I'm going to get 3 contracts here and just wait for this thing to play out. All right, so we're getting below the 30-point threshold here. It looks like we're going to go red. I got about a minute left, and as soon as it hits 12, and if it's red, I'm going to set my stop to just above that high of that red candle, just to give it a little bit of wiggle room. I would like 30 points, but this is going to be about 27 and a half, which is fine. It's pretty close. I'm not going to be greedy for just a few points on micros. This will end me up green for the day, which is 3 straight green days on both accounts. I just started these accounts, so it's a really great start. And I want to just lock in some profits. Feels like an exhausting day though too. A lot of work for just a few kind of trades. So there, I get stopped out. So yeah, this is my trading day. I'm green for the day on both of these accounts. If you want to learn more about the strategy I use and my custom indicators that I coded in TradingView, click on the link in the description and you get over to the registration page and you can watch the free training instantly. So have a great day, trade well, talk to you next time.